Greetings, fellow dwarves. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to a new episode of a continued series of Return to Moria, but now covering the DLC DURIN'S. If you would like to skip the game's overview, the overview of the DLC, or the recap of the previous section of this series, please use YouTube chapters. Welcome everybody to the first stream of DURIN'S. Return to Moria is a survival crafting game set in the 4th age of Middle-earth, where you're a dwarf who finds themselves stranded inside the epic halls of Moria and must find a way to escape. Build an epic dwarf-crafted stonework base, forge tools, weapons, armor, slay goblins, orcs, dragonkin, as you delve deeper into the story of Return to Moria. Spoilers here will be going forward. I am continuing the series where I left off back in January. Back in January, I had beat the main storyline. The main storyline involves you defeating a great evil, which is a dragon, like the brood mother dragon of Moria. And DURIN'S expansion is an expansion where you can recruit NPCs to join you and your company to establish trade and help you rebuild Moria. While you embark on expeditions to uncover greater treasures and long-buried secrets. Build a delving, which is like a dwarf community, and resettle dwarves to your community to help you cook, scavenge, build, repair, fight, and more. I'm going to load up and give you a quick tour of the base that I had left off back in January. And when you load a world pre-DURIN'S, you can essentially enable the expansion here. And I believe if you're playing multiplayer, when you load an expansion into other people's worlds, you like join them with the expansion included. But don't quote me on that. So, this is
the mountain's angry.
This may have shifted. This is the content that got unlocked. You have NPCs to recruit, new locations to visit, traders with rare goods, exciting expeditions to go on, building new sets, dangerous enemies, and more. Okay, so I'm going to head over to my base and give you a quick tour, because I'm sure you guys have forgotten. I have a base here in the Western Halls, and as you can see, the map looks significantly different than it did before. So you have like elevation maps and zone maps, and it's just a lot easier to traverse. The world is procedurally generated, so this like updated map is just a godsend. It's one of the problems I had with the original game. So this is the base that I've got. And I am just switching around my gear. So I've basically crafted myself a full set of mithril gear from winning the game. I've got my forges, my brew tanks, my hearths, a storage here, a stove to cook food, my bed, some memorial flames, more crafting over here. Now some things, because I upgraded to the DURIN'S, some of these sort of like debris on the ground got placed back. So that was the only thing that I had noticed coming in, was like there is some random furniture and debris that I have to get rid of, but it's not a big deal. Doing a quick drink here. And then upstairs, we've got our tomes and lore cases, rune table, loom, ink grinder, some armor. Previously in the series, I had built these like armor stands to pretend that we had dwarves on guard. But now I'm actually going to be able to have dwarves on guard, so that is super cool. And then some planters, using the sunlight coming through this like silvered mirror to grow stuff, plus treasure hoards. So that's sort of the TLDR of the base. Some of it still needs some cleanup, because as you can see, there's still some like base debris that is where it shouldn't be. But for the most part, you know, we're all set and ready to jump into DURIN'S. So I'm going to start triggering the DURIN'S content in just a minute. But what I would like for you to do is have you guys decide how I'm going to go about building a delver. And for that, I want you to make an educated feedback. I'm going to be polling you guys about it. So a delving in DURIN'S folk is a community of dwarves, and they're going to be working towards restoring Moria down here. I can either use my current base for the delving. The advantages of using my current base for the delving would be that I've already have a lot built here, so I wouldn't really have to redesign anything. It would be a lot faster and a lot easier to use my current base for the delving. The disadvantage is in my immediate area, I don't have a lot of open space. There's a bit of open space here. But if I really wanted to build a large community of dwarves, I would probably have to spill out further down the halls, which is fine. We could do that. I could turn this into our delving hall or the other direction. Alternatively, I could find a new location. A new location might be larger and grander. The disadvantage of that, of course, is I wouldn't necessarily have to build everything from scratch, because the things your delving needs is not the same things the player needs. So a delving isn't necessarily going to need like a rune enchanter. It's not going to necessarily need like a loom. You know, they're going to want, you know, storage boxes, forges, kitchen tables and ovens, a lot of beds, that kind of stuff. So ultimately, I'll leave it up to you. I do think, however, using the original base location is going to be significantly easier. But if you would like for me to build my delving elsewhere, I can leave my base here and put the delving somewhere else. So I'm going to have you guys polled on that. All right. Speak to the Emissary. The Emissary of Erebor awaits me at the first hall. The first hall is right over the bridge at the end of the game. Prepare for DURIN'S return. Mine Mithril, restore Darodelf, and make the mountains safe. Durin the last will lead us all back into Khazad-dûm. Until that time, I've been appointed the Lord of Moria. It is my duty to prepare for the day when more than my small company returns for good. Do I have a preference? My preference is to use the current location just because building from scratch somewhere new could be a large time investment with very little return on the time investment. That was, I think, what I was trying to get at. I see how the poll's going, but my worry is that if I build the delving somewhere else, I'm going to spend a lot of time transferring resources and building somewhere for very little benefit other than aesthetics. And given that, I'm going to restart this. If you want to continue voting for what you want to vote for, but now that I've like spelled it out in the plainest of ways, you're welcome to say, hey, build the delving somewhere else or build the delving here. I don't care. Seek the Endless Stair and DURIN'S Tower. Find and read the 3 history stones that will reveal the door to the stair. Many have said that the Endless Stair was never made to save in legend, but others say it was destroyed. Gimli told us that Tharkun glimpsed them and DURIN'S Tower at the summit. Among the wonders of Khazad-dûm, I desire to climb the peak. And then the last is survivors of Gimli's company. Search for survivors of the accident. I must not be the only one of Gimli's company to survive the accident. Since I awoke in a strange place, who knows where anyone else could have ended up. It's only right to search for them. Okay. Immediately I also have some extra Dwarven history. And then I've got some extra recipes. So this is an ornamental shield, a Gondorian shield, and this is some of the stuff that like I've unlocked from updates and DLCs that I hadn't been made aware of until this point. And then essentials and crafting would be like farming stuff. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and make some breakfast. I'll make a fruit salad. And I am going to go meet with the Emissary. So the Emissary is going to be near the bridge map stone. So I have a bunch of like fast travel locations all over Moria already from having beaten the game. I'm essentially just using those fast travel locations that I've already established to travel back through. Alright, so at the very end of the main quest line, you open this door and you gain access to the Dimril gate, which is up this way. I'm going to rebuild that fast travel right here next to the Dimril gate. And this is what is called the first hall. And apart from Eric, which is like a crow that follows you around as like an advisor, this is the first NPC that we've interacted with, like, full stop. Greetings, Lord of Moria. On behalf of the King under the mountain, Thorin Stonehelm of Erebor, I bring you information. I remember you from the doors of Durin. What information do you have? Our scholars may have found the location of the legendary Endless Stair, said to climb in unbroken spiral from the lowest depths to the peak of Zirk Zigil, and atop of which is Durin's Tower. As a new vassal of Erebor, I have the pleasure to pass this discovery to you. Vassal? I'm not certain about that, but I'll search for the stair.
That's where the Endless Stairs are.
So, it wants me to go to the door. And I also just got a Company of Moria shield, which is a tier 6 shield. And I got banners that I can make. My current shield is tier 5, so it would be better than a mithril shield. So, might be worth upgrading at some point. Alright, the next thing I want to do is I would like to rescue my first dwarf. And it looks like we're going to use this location. Don't worry, I'm going to make it pretty. And I'll let you vote on that. So, spoilers here. Just, I'll be blue for the duration of the spoilers. There are 4 dwarves that you would normally interact with playing throughout the main campaign. Positioned sort of like, you know, along the main campaign, like 12% in and then 38% in, so on and so forth. Most of DURIN'S Folk DLC takes place after you beat the game, but there are some aspects to it which take place prior to beating the game. So I'm going to be revisiting locations that I've already cleared, essentially, that are way below my level, for the survivors of the explosion. A little reminder, you got in this whole mess because you were trying to excavate your way in to Moria because the gates weren't opened, but Gimli was like, we have to get inside, we have to get inside. And you like exploded your way in and fell into Moria and got stuck. Essentially, you thought you were the only survivor of this explosion and you were trying to get out as the sole survivor. As it turns out, you were not the sole survivor. There are other survivors. So, my current priority right now is to go find dwarves. Before I do that, let's make some space in my inventory, because my inventory is quite full. And what I'll probably end up doing is I'll rework a lot of my inventory and boxes and storage. This base was not really designed for a company of dwarves. It was designed for just me, because when I was playing, it was just me. So I am going to have to spend some time to somewhat significantly redesign the base here that I've got, because it was really, it's not sufficient for like a company to work in. But that will come in time. I am not worried about that at all. So I am just trying to put things away. I need coal, and then I'll head out. Okay, there we go. So, the first dwarf that we're trying to rescue is going to be near the Mines of Moria. So I'm going to head to the Mines of Moria zone and go find them. I already know where the 4 are. I have played a bit of this prior to the stream. But I'm not going to spoil anything until we actually physically and functionally get to that point. So don't worry. You're not going to have content beyond what I am currently showing spoiled. Things to look out for. I'm going to rely on you, the viewers, to help spot tin and copper. Because I don't have a lot of tin or copper marked down on my map. Copper's going to be rather common, but not tin. So as I backtrack through the story, through the locations that I've already cleared, trying to find tin and copper is going to be somewhat important. Oh, you know, the other thing, I should skin my hat to be a miner's hat for light, so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So I have a low-level shield, which also is a light source, which I'll use most of the time, unless I'm in a big fight and I need like a real shield. The Well of Shadows. Let's turn off that waypoint. I don't need to see it. Where is it? If you remember what the maps looked like, there's DURIN'S Highway. Ah, here's the Well of Shadows. The map is a lot more traversable. So, when you're looking for dwarves, see that little white dot on the screen? That is an indicator that there is an NPC, a friendly NPC off in that direction. So let's head over there and lend him a hand. New goal, prison break. Search for the dwarven survivor.
Someone there? Help! Someone there? Help! Sakar Malul! Get me out of here!
He is an explosion survivor.
Hey.
Think Ole. You are a sight. Are you from Gimli's camp? Yes, I'm here to help. I woke up after the explosion and the orcs were dragging me away. I can't tell you how long I've been stuck in here. Let's get you out of here. Can we get back to the company? Did Gimli survive? We're trapped, but we have a small outpost. Let's get you there. So, details about him. He is a mason.
Sincere thanks.
And I've rescued him. So now it wants me to build a rally stone. A rally stone is like the start of a delving. The delving being like a formal dwarven community. A rally stone is sort of just like a rally flag of like, hey, we don't have a full community yet, but, you know, come near here. We can't tell you how long you've been down here. It's the same length of time we have. True. I'm on day 61, but like, when you're playing a new run, you'll probably find him at like day 15 or day 10 or something. Because I'm in Orktown right now, which is one of the one of the hostile territories, one of the first ones that you interact with. So, in other words, I'm doing some of this out of order, because had you started a brand new game, you would have definitely found an NPC well before you beat the game. Also, the NPCs, I think, are I could be mistaken, but I think they are randomized. They have different skills, different names. All right. So let's head on back to our home. And I am going to build a rally stone. So I'm going to head upstairs and drop a rally stone. Let's drop it right here. And I'm going to call this Rad's Delving, because that's my character's name. And Sigbert is standing at ease in Rad's Delving, and you can have multiple delvings. So he's going to be assigned to this one. So what I'm going to do for him is give him a bed. Eventually, I will invest time into, like, making way better quarters for these guys. But we're at the start. He gets a bed on essentially the roof. At least he has good lighting. So I assigned him a bed. He also happens to be a mason. So, oh, there he is. He's over here.
Yes? Cheers!
Give me a tool and I'll earn my place in the company. A weapon and I'll guard, a hammer and I'll fix things that need fixing. Hell, give me a basket and I'll gather supplies. So here's his equipment, his tools, and he is a skilled mason, which means he can repair things. So let's actually give him a hammer. Do people ever mention me in YouTube video descriptions? Almost never, no. It has happened, but like, it is so rare. Let's see. I might need to make him a hammer. So if we want him to have a good hammer, adamant hammer, we need one more fine leather. So let's make one more fine leather for him. And then he can start to automatically repair things around the base, which is mighty fine if you ask me.
No place I'd rather be. Got it.
Alright, he is working as a mason. A mason repairs things that break. So when orcs and goblins and animals attack us, they wear down our doors, they wear down our walls. Not everything is fully restored, and he's gonna walk around. Oh, yep, there he goes. He's already fixing stuff. Probably this pillar here, I'd imagine, because this looks pretty worn out. And he's gonna be walking around repairing everything to original condition, which is fantastic. And that's what masons do. That's how they specialize. Now, another thing. You need to feed them. Eventually, I'll probably get a cook in the company, and a cook will be able to, like, do the whole feeding them themselves. But this guy is gonna want me to, you know, put food on the table for him. So that's gonna be one of my responsibilities. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is ultimately going to be up to you. Should we look for more dwarves? Or investigate the endless stare? So, there you go. Quick poll. And I'm just making sure that I have everything I need traveling around. So one thing that I would suggest... Wait, why do I have this shield in my I should put this away. One thing that I would suggest, and this is pretty obvious, is always bring around with you a camp hearth material, so wood, stone, coal, and a map stone. Black diamond and stone. And that way you can just drop a fast travel wherever you go. It's really not that expensive. It can save you in a pinch. In fact, it might even save your life, because it's pretty easy to get stranded somewhere you don't want to be, and then you absolutely need to drop like a fast travel, and that will help out a lot. Alright, it's early evening, so unfortunately I missed the lunch hour. He is already drinking on the job, like every good dwarf would do. And I'll eat a little, and then I'm gonna find another dwarf. So if we're finding another dwarf, I should make some more cloth for another bed. And then there was also some other things that got opened up. So, I'll read some of the details about this in just a moment. Alright, so taking a look. Delvings. Rally stones. A smaller, simpler version of a delve stone. Building one designates an area as a delving for all company dwarves to rally towards. Unlike delvings established with a delve stone, rally stones do not accumulate pride and cannot be raised up. To convert a rally delving to a full delving, simply build a delve stone nearby. So we don't have a full delving yet, we just have like a little rally stone, obviously. Bon appetit, dude. Alright, some of the other tooltip information. Company dwarves. Any non-player dwarf recruited into a company can be assigned to a delving and given a role. Each company dwarf must sleep in a bed, eat once a day, and spend time merrymaking. You know, drinking and the like. Between sleep and food, they will work at the role they are assigned. Equip them with a proper tool to assign them to a role. All dwarves, regardless of skill, can be assigned to guard, given that they have a melee weapon, or salvager,
Your service.
given them they have a creel. Guards. Guards stand guard in the delving at the guards' posts, ready to confront any hostile enemy. These stalwart defenders keep the company safe from the dangers that lurk in Moria's depths. No skill required. Equipping any weapon to a company dwarf assigns them to this role. Their arms, these arms serve those brave enough to stand watch against whatever threats emerge. Guard patrol the delving and stand watch at the guard posts you place to influence their positioning. They automatically engage hostile creatures that threaten the company, using their weapons and training to defend the reclaimed halls. Place guard posts at key locations to direct where they maintain their vigilant watch. Salvagers. Salvagers search the area at a delving for supplies and crafting material and food ingredients. These resourceful dwarves scavenge the ruins for anything useful the company might need. No skill required. Equipping a salvager's creel to a company assigns them this role. This sturdy woven container gathers materials from Moria's ruins carried by those with an eye for valuable remnants. Salvagers roam the area around the delving, collecting whatever supplies, ingredients, and materials they find in the ancient ruins. They automatically deposit their finds in the delving chests, providing a steady stream of resources for the company's needs. The keen eyes spot useful items others might overlook in the rubble of ages past. Cooks. Just like without reading this whole thing, you assign them a frying pan, you build them a pantry, and they cook food. So cooks will go to the closest cooking station, drawing ingredients from the cook's pantry, depositing prepared meals to a nearby meal table. They'll prepare whatever meals they can from the available ingredients, though you can mark recipes as priorities for dishes. So that way you can say, hey, make this specific dish so they don't waste specific ingredients. Masons. Masons equipping a hammer gives them the mason rule, and they will repair. And that's, obviously, we already have a mason. They seek out damaged walls, broken stonework that they can reach. They repair structural damage automatically, restoring the integrity of nearby architecture. And metalworkers. They make ingots. So there you go. That's the full list And you guys obviously want me to go seek out dwarves. So, it's already nighttime. I think what I'm going to do is hit the hay and do that in the morn. But maybe while I do that, if we take a look at the materials needed. So, the delving chest requires iron. For the people that are scavengers, the guard post requires Numerian cloth. And there's an inverted fortress stair. Also, if you take a look at the recipe list for the workbench, we now have the metalworker's stoking rod, which is a lot of steel and leather. We have the fry cook pan, which is iron and balsam wood, and the creel, which is elven wood and natural fiber. I think it would make sense to have it cook pretty early on, even if the next person I rescue isn't specifically skilled at cooking. And the reason for this is, like, having to make food for every dwarf all the time is going to get old fast. So, before I go to sleep, I should queue up the materials I need to be able to make a fry pan. Meaning, let's make a whole bunch of iron ingots. Because it will get, they'll get smelted while I'm asleep. And he's sleepy, as you can see, the little indicator over his head. So he's going to sleep too. Alright, we're going to need 2 breakfasts. I'll collect the iron and make the fry cook pan. Yeah, you just fix it up the floors.
Smiles on us today.
As you can see, it's going to get really busy in here pretty quickly, so I will definitely be expanding everything as we add to our roster. Alright. The cook's pantry requires 1 more steel that I currently do not have, and the cook's pantry is what the cook has access to. So that the cook dwarves won't, like, take from your entire ingredient boxes. They basically leave your chests alone. That's essentially the TLDR of all of the company dwarves stuff, is the materials in your boxes are left alone. The materials in the designated employment, you know, storages are the ones that they will do. So for instance, if you had a metalworker, they're not just going to smell any old ore. They're going to smell ore designated in the box that you offer them. Same with the cook, you know, and everyone else. Cheers. Oh, you want me to get some dwarven bread going? All right. Well, that's not dwarven bread. But it's good stuff, so I'm going to make it anyway. Alright, now with the steel ingot, I could make the cook's pantry. And the cook's pantry, for now, I'll just put it right behind the other stove. The cook's pantry is going to allow me to designate a subset of ingredients to make food in. So we'll be headed off in just a minute to, as soon as it's like first light, to go search for more dwarves. Oh, there it is, morning. So certain meals can only be, if you want a bonus from them, should be only consumed at the proper time. So dawn is like too early to have breakfast, essentially. That's why I waited.
She will stand strong.
Okay, so we are looking for additional dwarves. That's what you guys wanted, if I'm not mistaken. So the next dwarf that we're going to head to is near the Great Drain Pumps in the lower deeps. It's near the Watcher's Lake. So here we are in the lower deeps, and we might need to wander around to find them a bit, but they're down here somewhere.
Eyes up! Monsters in the air!
And again, if you see a tin... Oh, yeah, I'm already getting a little diamond there, as you can see on the screen. It gives you a pretty distant indicator when you're close to a dwarf that is in trouble. So you don't have to go, like, searching frustratingly for them. So let's cross the shadow and go find the dwarf. Fighting for life.
Terrifying ordeal. Wolves have stalked me since the accident. Hey.
Damn wolves have been stalking me since I woke up down here. I've been fighting them off for days. Were you looking for the eastern stairs down here? The what now? No, I was running for my life and slipped and fell. And fell and fell. It took like hours before I splashed down here amongst the mushrooms. Join me back at our outpost. We're stronger together. And they are a metalworker. Okay.
What news?
Should we find more dwarves? Or find the endless stair? Well, there was a little bit of tin. Now, while you're building that, I'm just going to look around. Any of my map markers around here point out tin, silver? Because the issue is, like, I haven't actually played this in, Oh, okay, there's tin over in the Orc Warren. Cool, I'm gonna go head that way.
Quiet! I see prey ahead.
Sorry, bud, I need leather for my stuff. You get to die, because I'm addicted to the leather. I also should probably amass salt as well. Salt is a material needed for a whole bunch of stuff. Q is call out, which allows you to point at stuff.
Ah, found an ore vein.
Which is very handy in trying to mark what things are. So like that right there is silver ore. I don't need to get close to it. I can just point it out. Oh, I am going the wrong way. I should go down and right. Got it. So salt's useful for curing, that's also silver, for curing hides and the like and cooking, and I don't have a whole lot of it. Also silver. Precious gems. I have lots of precious gems, which is why I'm bypassing it. Silver as well. They did change the visual indicator of like poison, which is much nicer in this version than it was before. Previously, it was really hard to tell the edges of poison, and now it's like very clearly denoted, allowing you to avoid it. Because that was that was, I mean, almost everyone that played died to poison at one time or another because you just don't know where the bounds are. So that's a really nice update. And this is salt. Alright, it looks like you guys want me to search for more dwarves, so I'll start on that as soon as I get the tin that I was after.
And once our work is finally done, ale in my hand by the hearth. Way, hey, when the ale is gone, pour over ore once more. Pour over ore once more. Ha ha ha! Yes!
I did just get rid of that salt, so I'll delete the marker. And here's a lot more salt. And because I have DURIN'S axe, which is really just a pick, I can mine pretty quick. Which is an artifact level resource gathering. Alright, I've got pretty hefty sum of salt. Terrific. There's even more salt here. Yeah, I'll do it. I feel like if I don't get it now, I'll probably have to come back at some point. Saves me time just to get it ahead of time. Some resources you don't need like tons of. Semi-precious gems and precious gems you don't like need in massive amounts. But some things you need a lot of, like leather, salt, cloth. Those are very commonly required for a whole variety of crafting. Oh, they want to fight? 10! Fantastic. So one thing you'll notice is adding DURIN'S folk, you're going to have need of resources that if you're continuing from a finished game, you probably need resources that you had thought you were done with, which is why I am getting these resources ahead of time. Because a lot of the DURIN'S folk stuff will require like bronze and shanor and iron and steel, and not just like mithril, which is what you would have, you know, had you recently beat the game. So that's why, while I'm already down here, I might as well just collect what I'll eventually need. It will come in handy, and it will save me time. Unfortunately, with all the endgame tools, it doesn't take very long to collect an immense amount of resources. Alright, we are sporting 35 tin already. Thank you for tuning in to Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, DURIN'S folk, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow DURIN'S folk.